Let's check out the Botanical Gardens of Copenhagen! Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Roos, my pronouns are she, her, and today I'm going to show you inside the Botanical Garden greenhouse of Copenhagen. A quick note, this is the first video that I'm filming on the built-in mic on my camera because I forgot my extra mics. Sorry. So I hope the audio is okay, but if not, in other videos it will be better than this. First look at the palm house, as they call it. Let's go see! And yes, it snowed last night, so everything is beautifully white, very photogenic, but also a little bit slippery. Careful! The greenhouse doesn't open until 10, but I found a way around. I came a little bit early to film the outside, and I also spotted some cacti and succulents that we could already look at. Without the added heat as well, so that's good. Looks like a really nice greenhouse. Oh, there's a gardener already working. Look at these huge cacti. Woo! And a little path next to the greenhouse, so we can... Oh, look! Hello, it's voiceover Rose from back home. You're going to be hearing from me a little bit in this video. It was finally time to get to the entrance. Look at this beautiful building. This is where you head in, and I was the second or third person to enter the greenhouse that day, so that was pretty cool. Only I didn't realize here I made a little mistake, and you'll hear about it in a few minutes.
20 minutes later.
I just realized that everything that I filmed inside is in slow motion, but I'll do a quick recap of what we've seen so far. In the beginning, there was a nice Amorphophallus in a really warm greenhouse. Then we stepped in a bit of a cooler one, and then into this one, the main palm house. It's really high and beautiful. There's a lot of different aeroids that I appreciate. And I'm going to show you the highlights again, because I can probably use the slow motion footage, you just won't hear me talking.
I actually went back and refilmed most of it, but I am using some of the slow motion footage because somehow it sometimes looks better than the normal footage, like you'll see later on. It's a little bit more crispy.
Big Spathiphyllum in bloom, huge Thematophyllum, I think Biponetophyllum, that has flowers coming in, and a Scindapsus crawling up it. Different big Philodendron and Alocasia all over, and in this tree is a Syngonium with the nice side lobes, and a Rhaphidophora decursiva. I guess a benefit for me having to re-record is that I now know all the labels, because it took me a while to find the labels, but I know them now, so. There's a lot of Aglaonema and Dieffenbachia. Over here, a beautiful Anthurium hybrid that looks very bat-like, don't you think? And then Philodendron mamai. Look at this huge one. And there's lots of babies growing on the ground as well. Really cute. Can you hear the frogs? Here, next to this small pond, some Thematophyllum. Some climbers in, oh, it's a Pepermnum aureum climbing a tree, and then coming back down here. In this part we have some Calathea mosaica, stingray, alocasia. This is the big version. Alocasia zebrina. All, of course, a favorite with the stems. More baby Xanthosoma nigrum, and the big one. Always fun to see what they plant on a branch. So we have some orchid, some begonia. This I think is also an orchid. And then a Selaginella wildanaui, I think. I still don't know how to pronounce that one. And a Ficus filosa was here as well, but you can see it better here. Look at these fuzzy hairs. I recognize those anywhere. Oh, and at the top there is a Monstera deliciosa climbing.
Apparently 2 people just dropped all their stuff, including their shoes, and were nowhere around. Like they're walking around bare feet, maybe?
This looks like the Adansoni that we buy in garden centers. And then back there is a Micans, I think. But it looks slightly different from a Micans. Monstera making a fruit. Syngonium ground cover. I think this is Philodendron by Penifolium, the violin one. And here we can see the micans on the other side. Oh wow, that's a loud frog. I really hope this mic picks it up. Also, kids are walking by. Micans, but then look here. This is definitely Melanochrysum. I hope they can get it to grow as big as we have it in the other gardens. Climbed all the way up there, but there was not a lot to see, and I got a little bit dizzy, so I don't want to do it again. I will put in the slow motion footage instead.
The only thing missing from the slow motion footage is all the jungle noises, which is a little bit sad. Here you had a pathway all the way around, and I'm giving you some different views from above. It was a little bit more like the tops of the plants. It wasn't super interesting, apart from this beautiful huge banana leaf and the palm trees, of course, I filmed for my boyfriend. I really enjoyed being up here, but the way down really made me dizzy, so I stopped a few times to look at the plants. It was actually quite high, but look at these plants. Okay, more dizziness. Here we're looking down on that weird anthurium and some, I think, pipers climbing up and some just huge jungle vibes. It's good to be back on solid ground.
More ficus, I think, and a fiddle leaf. Looking really happy and healthy. Wow. There's a lot of kids here, so we're gonna go in the next room.
Don't worry, I came back here later to film some more.
It's much more quiet here, so I'm trying to keep it that way and talk really soft. Fittonia heaven.
Some really nice begonia, different kinds. I especially like this Begonia masoniana. It is a stunner.
And it's really fluffy looking. Like a cat almost. Ooh, look at this size. Not sure what this crawler is, but it looks really cool. Ow. I think it's a Rhaphidophora. Or maybe it's Scindapsus.
Now this footage would have been nice in slow motion, and I'm not even saying anything. So yes, this is voiceover Rose, by the way.
The next greenhouse is a little bit cooler again, and they have a lot of carnivorous plants here in a really nice setting. Look at this, all the moss. It is backlit because the sun is coming up from this way, so I hope you can see, but look at this beautiful sundews.
I'm clearly still learning to use this camera, so sorry for the not very stable images. I didn't realize this until later. Then I went back to the first greenhouse, that really warm one with some really nice tropical looking plants. I don't know what they are. They had flowers, which was kind of nice. And this was the pond with the Amorphophallus in front of it or next to it. It's a pretty big one, Amorphophallus titanum, but not nearly as big as the ones that they grow at the Botanical Gardens of Leiden, where I'm a volunteer.
I have no idea what this is, but the shape is beautiful. There's a lot here. The stems have spikes on them.
Then I went another round in the big greenhouse because that was my favorite, the one with the stairs and the beautiful, huge, big aeroids.
I guess I have to film the Scomiferum again as well. Look at this beast. There's new growth here. And it's growing all up this palm tree. Wow.
I really enjoyed the different textures and structures and patterns of the plants together. I actually made a reel about this even because I really liked it. The spikiness, the soft pillowy leaves, the palm trees. Along the outer edge of the greenhouse were planted tables.
Some more Calathea, some more Thymotophyllum. Again, really big. Taking over. Look at those stems. And that's Scindapsus in better light.
I'm generally not super into bananas and palm trees like my boyfriend is, but here I did really appreciate them. They're so big as well. The next greenhouse was more Mediterranean, which is not really my vibe. So I filmed a few beautiful flowers like this orchid. Wait, is it an orchid? I don't think it is. I think it's an iris. I'm clearly not an expert.
I don't know.
Although we are going outside, the experience is not over yet, as their label said. It's nice to see this from outside though. It's really beautiful buildings.
We made it into the cactus house that we saw from outside before.
Now you probably know I'm not really into cacti and succulents, but there were some very special looking plants here and flowers as well that were just lovely. I did really enjoy the different textures and like structures of these plants together. Normally you think cacti and succulents are pretty much all the same, in our house at least, but here growing together it gave a really special effect. Look at all these huge big cacti. That is pretty impressive.
What will the next one be? I'm curious now.
It was the butterfly house. Of course, there were also some beautiful flowers and plants in here. I will show you more at the end. But first of all, the butterflies. Ah!
Some nice begonia. Again, it's really quiet in here, so I don't want to make too much noise. Wow, look at this. They have several of the Welwitschia. And this one's actually pretty long. This is the plant that only ever grows 2 leaves in its entire life, and it just keeps growing these leaves. 2, 3. Ooh, and a nice butterfly. This is the butterfly house, but also the bromeliads. Did you see them flying? A few anthurium over here. And then I've also spotted a Hoya. And look, I found a Hoya. Just one. Hoya Carrie, it looks like. And it's growing all the way up the wall. And then there's also a really nice, I think it's a Margravia raficus. Crawling all over the wall. And just like that, I'm back outside. That's it for this video. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe below if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!